Greetings from the Idiot Box, where we discuss the good, the bad, and the wacky. I'm Allison Lips. In this episode, we're diving into one of my television blind spots, Airwolf. I had never heard of the show before, but today's guests, Darin and Mike, resolved that issue. Before we get into Airwolf, I want to introduce you to Darin, who has worked in TV for almost 32 years and currently works with Antenna TV and Rewind TV. We're also joined by Mike, who is an engineer at a glue factory. That has nothing to do with TV, but together, Darin and Mike are the hosts of Cincinnati's comedy podcast, which is 5 years old and closing in on its 250th episode. Welcome to the Idiot Box, Mike and Darin.
Well, thank you for having us, Alice. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
What up?
But let me, you're doing such a great job, but you said we're talking about Airwolf? I thought we were talking about Air Bud.
Yeah.
The dog
That
in
is
the
a
basketball.
movie. The Idiot Box
Right?
is
Yeah.
television.
So we're not talking
No.
about Air Bud.
No.
He's been so excited
Okay,
to do
well,
that.
I guess I'll wing it.
This is
Hi.
the kind of comedy that you can expect on
You
Irritable
can totally
Dad
get that every
Syndrome.
week on
Yeah.
Irritable Dad
Yeah.
Syndrome. That's right.
Yes. So while Darin is brushing up on his Airwolf knowledge,
I'm gonna
Mike,
go on,
you
I'm
gotta
going
tell
on
me.
Google right now. Yeah.
Okay. We'll wait.
This is what he does. He tramples over everyone else. He excels at that.
Talk amongst
Yeah.
yourselves.
Okay,
I'm good.
Mike,
Yeah.
you gotta tell me why Airwolf, because you are the one responsible for this pick.
Yeah, probably the one here who's watched the least amount of Airwolf.
Oh,
Okay, so Airwolf is the series in the 80s. I know people talk about Miami Vice and the A-Team.
The A-Team.
And those things,
Mhm.
but Airwolf is a series that has aged like a fine wine.
Okay.
Okay.
So back in the day,
I think it's a wine that reached its peak.
We're gonna go
and,
to the-
and now it's like you better watch it
you
fast.
just gotta he's like a fighter. You got to let him wear himself out, and then and then you can start your
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
So
Yes.
back in the day, back in the 80s, there was a movie called Blue Thunder. Has
Mhm.
anyone here heard of Blue Thunder?
I have.
I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
Okay,
I don't know much about
it
it.
had Roy Scheider, you know, the we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah, he
with
was
the
in Jaws.
Shark guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it had the guy from Home Alone with the curly hair, Daniel Stern.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
They were cops, and they got a police helicopter, a super high-tech helicopter with like a Gatling gun
Mhm.
and computers. You had to have two people in there. One is flying and shooting, and the other is, I don't know what he's doing. He's in front of the computers and doing stuff. But it was an actual good movie, and the whole point of it was going through, back then, people were concerned about being spied on and overreach of the government and those type of things. And it was, what happens when the police get themselves a big shiny new toy, kind of like RoboCop, but with a helicopter.
With the helicopter,
right?
yeah, with the chopper.
So the people that
Okay.
made Blue Thunder cared about story, and they cared about characters, and they felt a need to further the art form of film.
Sure.
And so what they did, it's actually a really good movie. You go through the character development of Roy Scheider
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
his buddy. Spoiler alert for a 50-year-old movie, dies, and then he has to
It
deal
was
with
tragic.
that. And at the end, he eventually decides the world just can't handle a helicopter like Blue Thunder.
Like Blue Thunder.
So he parks it on a train track. If you haven't seen the movie, you want to skip ahead 30 seconds. And a train hits it. And that's the end of the movie with
Yeah.
Roy Scheider walking away like a badass
Credits.
with a flaming helicopter behind him.
Blue Thunder.
So at the same time that movie came out, there were some psychotic, this is the 80s, there were people
Right.
with way too much cocaine and way too much money.
Lots of that was in
And
the
they said, we need to make a helicopter show.
a TV show.
These people did not care about character.
No.
They did not care about story.
No.
They just wanted to see a helicopter.
Mhm.
And it's like if you took the kids from South Park and you put them around a table
Mhm.
and said, what can we do to make the coolest helicopter show ever? And one of them says, well, it's got to fly out of a volcano.
Right.
And everyone's like, it has to look awesome, like a Corvette or something, not like Blue Thunder. Blue Thunder looked like a dragonfly or a bug.
Right.
But Airwolf looked like a Corvette
Right.
in the air. And it's got to have thrusters because everyone knows that the best helicopters have jet thrusters
Got
on
to
the
have
back.
jet thrusters.
Right?
Oh,
And
yes.
it's
Come on.
It's got to be 15 times bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
So you can fit an entire marching band.
It's like the
inside-
TARDIS. It's the
Yeah,
TARDIS
exactly.
in
Yeah.
TARDIS in helicopter form.
So on
Yeah.
the outside, it's a Corvette with helicopter blades on the top. Inside, it's like a basketball gym,
Yeah.
and the guy's got multiple computers.
It does.
Ernest Borgnine,
That are
Uh-huh.
attached to his helmet.
attached to his
Yes,
helmet
yes.
that he's sitting
Well,
in front of.
Come on, you got to have it attached
There's-
to your helmet.
I think there's filing cabinets in the back. There's a hunchback back there that's climbing downstairs.
a
that
library.
has a library,
pool.
all these things. Meanwhile, the main character, who, again, a bunch of writers around a table, filled to the brim with cocaine.
Just
What's the
jacked
most
up on-
badass name we can pick?
B.A. Baracus.
No, that's
No.
taken.
Oh,
John
oh.
Rambo. No, that's taken.
Stringfellow.
Stringfellow
Hawk.
Hawk. That is so badass.
It's not.
It is amazing.
I mean, there were several times in the show where people asked the question, actors acting their characters.
Yeah.
What kind of name is Stringfellow anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what
That's
did they
when
call
you
him
know
as
it's
a
good
kid?
writing.
Yeah.
Exactly. But people who knew him called him String.
Yeah.
People who know him really well called him Hawk.
So,
Yes.
But
yeah.
no, but if I can interrupt for a second,
Yes, you
Blue
can.
Thunder was so popular a movie that everyone was jumping on it because CBS, NBC had Riptide, one of ABC I think had Blue Thunder, and then the other
Yeah.
network
So
had
after Airwolf became a
Airwolf.
hit, then they tried to make a Blue Thunder TV series.
Mhm.
And I think it's the people
Mm-hmm.
that couldn't get on the Airwolf team.
I think Airwolf came after the other two, but Airwolf lasted longer than the other
Did it
ones.
really?
Yeah.
Did the
Yes,
Airwolf
it
series come
lasted-
after the Blue Thunder series?
Well, it lasted 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So the fourth is really kind of a
No, well, the 4th season doesn't count because they moved it, they canceled it, and then picked it up on the USA Network.
Yes.
those
Wasn't it at the
hacks.
time when this was known for Press Your Luck reruns?
yeah. Well,
Probably so. And my God, I would love to do an entire show on Press Your Luck.
yeah. They basically
We can.
said
I love Press Your Luck.
they basically
Should
said
I write you down for that one?
Well,
Oh, there
Adam,
you go.
you need to get Adam Needham for that. Adam
yeah.
Of
Needham is
course.
the guy. Get Adam. Yeah. And if he turns you down, then I will. I'll step in. But no, get Adam for that.
I mean,
But yes.
nothing's stopping you from doing it together.
Okay. Well, if I don't know, he might have it in his contract that he won't do any more.
do the damn
appearances with
show with her.
him. Okay.
right,
Fine.
okay.
Fine.
So yeah, the fourth season of Airwolf, they
Airwolf.
stripped it down. They said all
Yep.
we need is the helicopter and a volcano.
Yeah. And
Right, we don't
Jan-
need any of the cast. We don't
Jan,
need Jan Michael
Vincent
Vincent.
was in like the first episode, had a cameo in the first episode of season 4, and they basically used recycled footage.
Did he really? Was he
Yeah.
like walking through
Yeah.
the cafeteria?
Exactly. Hey,
They also
anybody want,
moved it to Canada.
anybody want a donut? Yeah,
Well, helicopters are cheaper in Canada.
Everyone knows that.
that's
right.
true.
Yeah.
Well, it's in shillings, right?
But
in
yeah,
Canada?
then-
shillings,
and-
pesos.
so
Canada
then-
has pesos.
The
No.
first episode. So it's Airwolf started
back to
out
me on that
like
one.
the first episode is basically a movie.
Sometimes we talk at the same time.
yeah, it's
Discovered that.
but
We're
it's
like an
a
old
very,
married couple.
It's a very
You also
good-
have a nice background of the TV just flickering.
Is it flickering? Oh my god!
No signal.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
your podcast is ruined. Damn it, Mike. How many times have I told you to stop flickering the goddamn television?
Okay, all right. I forgot what I was going to say.
sorry.
This is what happens. This
Airwolf.
is why our show goes all over the place. No, the first episode is trying to be serious. I mean, you can tell because
Yes, it's supposed to be a movie, but it's in 2
Yeah.
parts.
It
yeah, and
takes
Stringfellow
forever
loves
to
that
get going.
cello up
Uh-huh.
the mountain.
Now, hold on a second. You keep saying that he was playing the cello on top of the mountain, and the episode I watched, he's playing the cello on the dock next to the water,
What's the difference?
about 2,000
Mount-
feet.
Doesn't he look up and see a hawk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was it a
I
hawk
didn't
or an
see the
eagle?
rest of the episode after
I
that.
think
not
it
an
might be an eagle
I'm
because
not
this
an
is when it gets.
ornithologist, but it doesn't look like a hawk to me.
It
No, I
says
think
That's
this-
Stringfellow
very
Eagle.
anti-bird. That don't look like a hawk to me.
Yeah.
I think this is when it gets weirdly like patriotic.
Yes.
It's just does the eagle have like a marble sticking out of its beak? And
Yes.
it's got an assault rifle and a Bud Light.
Listening to Skinnerd in his earbuds. So yeah, and then Stringfellow Hawk is there on the dock playing that
Yes.
cello, and sometimes
Yeah.
if you look closely, it ain't even touching the strings. His
Oh, no.
bow is not touching the strings. He's got his dog, his blue tick hound, Tet, not Tit, Tet.
Well, from the Tet
Stupid.
Offensive.
Like Ted offensive.
Tet Offensive.
Tet offensive.
He also doesn't know.
No, I
hardly
didn't know
anything
what
about
I
history.
didn't know why he named it Ted. I didn't know what that meant. Well, now I know.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
So
He
the interesting
named his
thing-
dog after the Ted offensive.
I'm assuming that's the only other Ted I know. How many other Tets do you know? It was probably Ted, and they just did a typo,
Had a
and they
speech
never
impediment.
fixed it. They're just screw it. I mean, Crockett, for God's sakes, he had an alligator on his boat named Elvis.
Elvis,
Why
yeah.
can't Stringfellow have a dog named Tet?
Well, there's no reason why you can't. But
No, that
Elvis
is
is a
true.
cooler name than Ted.
It is. Speaking of
on.
Miami Vice,
Yeah.
interesting
Dun,
thing
dun,
about,
dun.
and I'm sorry we ruined your podcast. An interesting thing
Just
about
apologizing in
Airwolf
advance.
is it starts out serious,
Mm-hmm.
and then they realized this is insane.
It's taking
And
forever.
As the series went, it
Yeah.
got goofier and goofier. There was one episode where they're chasing UFOs,
Mm-hmm.
and then did you tell me there was an evil Airwolf episode?
There was one episode very
yeah,
similar.
isn't there like
Yeah,
Airwolf's evil twin?
yeah, Airwolf.
something-
The helicopter has a goatee.
Yeah,
That's how you tell that's the bad one.
he has glasses. No, there was an episode with David Carradine guest starring.
Oh,
And this was something that they also did on Knight Rider. They had another kit, and so they had like a head-to-head. What happens when Knight Rider has to battle Knight Rider, essentially? But there was another Airwolf helicopter, and they were chasing this bad Airwolf was chasing good Airwolf, and
This makes total sense.
String, as I like to call him, String and Dominic would like turn right, and then the chopper behind them would turn right. Then they would turn left, and they would do the same thing. And they're like, "Holy crap! They're mirroring us. They've tapped into our computer system." They found that out by talking to Is it Archangel or
Archangel.
Archangel?
Archangel.
I like to call him Archie.
Yeah, he's got the
eye patch on the glasses.
Right.
They said they've tapped into your computer system, so what you need to do is go cold. And they're like, go cold? They're like, yeah, you need to unplug all your stuff. So they unplugged all their computer systems, and then they whipped it around. Hello. And then they killed the bad Airwolf in that episode. But what they said was, we're going full Orville and Wilbur on this.
yeah.
And I'm
That's
like,
what they said.
That's what they said. I'm like, how come that catchphrase never took off? I would have that on a bumper sticker, a T-shirt, a fridge magnet. We're going full Orville and Wilbur on this one.
What does that even mean?
Well, Orville and Wilbur, Allison. I don't know if you're a history buff. Orville and Wilbur.
Yes, I know
Wright,
who they are.
They built the
first-
airplane. Okay,
yes, the first
in
flight.
flight, and they took off in
Kitty
Kitty
Hawk,
Hawk,
North
Carolina.
Carolina.
Out of
And
a
the reason they
volcano.
flew out of North Carolina was because it's cheaper to fly into Cincinnati or the Dayton area than to fly out. Cost efficient.
Oh,
Yeah,
why
that was
not
a good
Canada since helicopters are cheaper there?
We're not. Hey,
Boom.
stop
See?
bringing up Canada. This
There you
ain't
go.
Mike Chisholm. Okay.
Yeah. So I will say that, with the writing team, as they were being surrounded by meth and Twinkies, I'm impressed that in that episode,
They had meth back then.
oh yeah,
Did they? I thought it was all cocaine.
yeah, instead of, you would think
Mm-hmm.
when someone says we're going cold,
Yeah, we're going.
that
Go cold turkey.
Ernest Borgnine would like pour ice water on the computer and say, "Oh, took care of it, boss," and 'cause that's how the original team would roll.
That's what he would have done in McHale's Navy.
Yeah.
And Ernest Borgnine is Dominic, for
Dominic,
those who
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
the-
Yes.
Legendary Academy Award-winning actor Ernest Borgnine, who I don't know if you've ever watched an episode of McHale's Navy. McHale's Navy is a great show. You
have
can watch
not
it on
yet.
Antenna TV. Go to antennatv.com and check local listings.
I don't think I get antenna TV with my YouTube TV.
No, not on YouTube. You don't. But no, but Ernest
See,
Borgnine.
he can plug where he works for. I can't. It's hard for glue. Go buy some and stick shit together. That's what I can say.
Whenever I hear about you working at the glue factory, I just do horses go in one door and then glue comes out the other?
It ain't that type of glue, bud.
Oh, okay. Because as a kid, you'd always
You
hear
work with
that.
polymers.
That's right.
That
He thinks polymers is a funny word. He's a very odd dude.
I'm on.
Which part of polymers is the funny part?
Is it the poly or the MERS?
You just caught me off guard because it's not every day polymers comes up in a conversation.
I literally have conversations about polymers every day.
Probably do.
I do.
So what's your favorite polymer? Yeah. Airwolf.
Yeah.
What a show. What a show.
Yes. That it is.
By the way,
Sorry.
can you edit around him saying polymer? Because that's actually...
There a guy. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
that's actually-
oh,
that's-
so you're
yeah.
afraid
He's gonna
that
get-
someone is going to listen to her podcast, and there's a guy named Hank who has something to do with polymers,
stop?
and they're going to go to his house.
Can you stop?
Okay.
I'm being dead serious.
Okay.
I'm not funny guy. Can you just stop?
Okay.
Thank you. Remember when you threw the pencil at me because of your
Yeah.
squirrel joke? This
Yeah.
is a pencil moment.
Okay.
Okay.
I threw a pencil at him one time because we had guests on the show, and I was trying to read something from David Sedaris, and he wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. And I threw a pencil at him. I missed, but I threw it at him. We're not going to do that tonight.
Okay. Are you serious about the guy thing, or was that a joke?
Apparently, he's serious.
Is it easy for you to edit that out? Edit that little section out?
I mean, not really, because it'll be obvious. But yeah, I can do it.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry about it then. Just don't Now we
A real
Whatever.
person now.
Yeah, he started talking about a real person at a real workplace.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I just pulled.
And
her
there's
name.
reasons it's really, really bad, and I don't want to go into it right now. I just want him to stop. And let's move on.
Okay, I'll cut it out then. I don't need you
Alright.
called into HR.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Airwolf.
Why?
Airwolf.
First of all, Darin, why would you do that?
I just pulled a name out of my ass. And it happens to be somebody he works with, so that was a coincidence, a complete coincidence.
So you
And
had
the
no idea that this
No.
said person is a real
Not at all.
person.
No, he just came up with a weird name. Yeah.
I've got an idea. I'm going to say a name, and you can replace this name over that name, Ernie. So whenever you hear me say the first name, just have me say Ernie.
I can do that.
Is there somebody named Ernie?
At the
It'll be
last
like
place I
Doctor
worked there.
Strangelove. Wait, is there?
Yeah.
Did we just
Not
go
at
with
my-
John?
Not at my
John.
No, I got a John. No,
John.
Ernie's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. As long as he doesn't keep going, we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. We're good.
Airwolf.
Okay.
Did you know Jan Michael Vincent had a photographic memory? I was reading up on 20 things you didn't know about Airwolf, and that he had a photographic memory. They would show him the script, and he would look at it one time, and that's all he needed to know. And then they would do the show. Ernest Borgnine thought that was incredible. Airwolf.
Is this real, or are you just making stuff
Yeah.
up again?
Yeah, I know. I was doing some
It's
research.
kind of like the script for Conan the Barbarian. I mean, how many lines did Arnold Schwarzenegger really have? You know, and so
Yeah.
I don't think I don't remember Stringfellow ever talking. I really don't. Ernest Borgnine wouldn't shut the hell up. back
Ernest
there.
Borgnine did. I think
Sure.
he did have more lines than Stringfellow did.
But see, part of the thing, so I think Airwolf suffered from the same thing that I think affects Cobra Kai and other shows like that are centered around one thing. They just ran out of stories that could be solved by a helicopter flying out of a volcano.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Yes.
Cobra Kai. My family's huge into Cobra Kai. Thank God it's over. But it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I would watch it for a few minutes. Like, okay, what problem are they going to have that's going to be
Right.
solved by someone kicking someone in the face?
I mean, they never had, like, the Teenage Rec Center is about to close, so how can we save it? I know. I know. I've got a friend who has a helicopter, and the helicopter's going to come and fly over,
Yeah.
and they're going to raise enough money, and they're going to save the rec center.
Yeah.
It's like, thanks, Airwolf.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't happen.
They can bring it back. Just call it Airwolf. What happened? And Airwolf is like at the beach and has one of those little advertisement things going after, like Ernie's hot dogs. Check them out.
Airwolf.
Can they really bring it back, though? Do you know what happened to Airwolf after the show?
I was doing, like I said, I did some research. They sold the helicopter, and some
Yes.
people who were flying it died. 3 people died when Airwolf crashed, when
Yes,
the actual helicopter crashed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it became an air ambulance in Germany. They removed all of the parts that made it Airwolf, and it crashed. And if you want to, there is an accident report that is 70 pages in German.
Oh,
So you can
wow.
find out exactly what happened if you speak German.
Yeah.
They-
I mean, I hate that happened, but I was like, that's, that was crazy.
Yes.
Well, they took all the important Airwolfy parts out.
Yeah. But like you said, what they should have done is they should have flown Airwolf over the beach and, Sally, will you marry me? And just, pull the, what are those things called? The air ads?
Yes.
Yeah. Air ads.
Air ads. Yeah.
So yeah, I do think there's been this '80s resurgence with Cobra Kai and a couple of other things. I think Airwolf could, in theory, come back. I don't know if they could do the same type of helicopter.
I doubt seriously that it'll ever come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like no one's buying jet engines on a helicopter.
Right. Well, gas is too expensive. They can't afford to do it. No, I was watching Adam Scott. Do you know who Adam Scott is?
Yes, Severance.
Yeah,
Party
on Severance.
Down.
Yeah, so he was on Conan's podcast, and I guess Bill Burr was talking about how great the TV show Chips was, and Adam Scott was challenging him to take a closer look and watch Chips again. Because
Joni Loves Chachi, his second favorite show.
I don't remember that. But he was talking about, back in the day, when there was only 3 channels, you watched what was on TV.
Yeah.
That's the only really choice you had. And sometimes with antennas and everything being the way they are, sometimes your favorite channel didn't come in. And so you would watch something else because it was the only thing on. So Airwolf was one of these shows back in that time where I don't even know what time it was on, but it was like the best thing that you could possibly watch that night. Because networks were really famous for trying to counter program at the time. Like,
Right, yes.
Little House on the Prairie was on right opposite WKRP in Cincinnati. And Lonnie Anderson was on Tom Snyder's show, and the joke was every time WKRP would gain a point in the ratings, they would blind another kid on Little House. So if one network had a comedy, another network would have a drama or something to try to counter that audience. And I don't know what ran opposite of Airwolf, but I mean, it was like the only thing on. It was
we
one
can
of 3.
look that up.
Yeah, it was one of 3 shows that was on TV.
Yeah.
And people loved watching, Airwolf blow stuff up. And by the way, there was they thought that it had broken the world record for most explosions on a TV, and that was just some rumor that people had spread, and it wasn't true. So I really shouldn't be spreading lies on your podcast. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think that's a little bit late. That ship sailed.
I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can.
It's probably with the cocaine and meth.
It's all the cocaine, the
and
meth,
the
the
writer's
heroin.
room is
Yeah.
where we.
Yeah, the antacids. It's just all to having a negative effect on me. Hey, and a stuntman died while they shot Airwolf too. So there's another grim.
Jeez.
That'll bring your podcast down. Let's talk about something funny. Ernest Borgnine. So he was on McHale's Navy, but my favorite show that Ernest Borgnine did was he was Mermaid Man on SpongeBob SquarePants.
Right,
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Barnacle Boy, yes.
The
that is
reunion
what
of-
I grew up with.
Yeah, the reunion of Ernest Borgnine and Tim Conway. And they were on McHale's Navy together. It was just amazing. Fantastic.
Okay, so I found, at least for the 1984 season, Airwolf was against T.J. Hooker, Otherworld,
Uh-huh.
Charles in charge for the first half.
Oh no.
Oh wait,
Scott.
no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So ABC had TJ Hooker, CBS
Okay.
had Airwolf in the fall. Then on NBC it was Different Strokes, and then Give Me a Break for the second half, and then
Yeah.
Double Trouble.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Isn't no, this isn't the show I thought it was. I thought Give Me a Break had Dom DeLuise, but it doesn't.
No,
See, they
Give Me a
coulda-
Break was Nell Carter.
Yes.
They could have cross-programmed, had Airwolf pick up the
What
kids.
you
at different
talk about,
stores.
Airwolf?
That's right. There you go.
Gary Coleman and Todd Bridges on a very special Airwolf.
Stringfellow walks in.
Where's Kimberly?
Yeah.
You know the deal with Different Strokes. Like every week on Different Strokes, somebody was either going through bulimia, someone was getting abducted.
Yes.
I mean, God, Arnold got. I can think of twice that he was in some type of. He was almost. We're not going to get into that on your podcast.
I mean, it was basically an after-school special.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah. So yeah, if you wanted to watch an after-school special at night, or if you wanted to watch a helicopter blow stuff up, those were your choices.
Also, in hindsight, the CGI is horrible on Airwolf.
Did they have CGI? They
Yeah,
didn't
I
even
think
think
the
they
only
had
thing
the
they had
first-
were the line graphics.
I know. Well, you and I were talking about it. It's like this helicopter flies so fast, and you can tell that the film was just sped up.
Yeah,
You can tell that.
they did the same thing they did with Street Hawk, the motorcycle.
Yes.
And that was another one of these shows where everything is solved, every problem is solved by a guy that drives a motorcycle out the back of a rig.
Yes.
He drives really fast through the
Street
city. He's
Hawk.
always across the city from whatever.
Was this
the
a
problem is
genre in the
happening.
80s?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The
heck yeah.
vehicle thing. Yeah, the whole. There was a toy series, Mask. You remember Mask?
No.
The vehicles. Every character had their own vehicle, and the vehicle changed into something else. You had Transformers, which is surrounded by cool vehicles.
Yeah.
GI Joe. The whole thing there was vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Well,
It was
no, I
big
remember.
stuff.
Well, okay, so it was one of the early episodes of Irritable Dad Syndrome. Mike and I got into a little bit of an argument, a little tiff. I thought the A-Team was a better show. Mike said, "Duh, no, it's Airwolf," and he didn't like the A-Team because Airwolf
Okay.
was more realistic.
Yeah.
He didn't think the A-Team was realistic enough. I mean,
That's
they've
true.
got okay. They don't have a helicopter, but they got a black van with a cool red stripe down the side.
Yeah.
They break Murdoch out every week. I pity the fool, and then Mr. T. Come on.
Yeah, I think if we're going for more realistic, I think the A-Team has won that one.
Yeah, thank you.
By
Doesn't
far,
that
but
does-
that's
that doesn't
still-
mean we're right, but no. But
I
they
mean,
certainly
both of
didn't have
them-
a helicopter in a volcano with the guy playing a cello.
No, both of them seem to me like boys with their toys,
Mm-hmm.
but Airwolf aspires to be more because there's the romance aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
So on
Yeah.
in some ways, Airwolf does not know what it wants to be.
I think you're right.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there's, I think, I don't know if Knight Rider came before Airwolf or after Airwolf, but there's definitely the same show, just a car instead of a helicopter.
I had to look this up. Actually, Blue Thunder was before Airwolf. Like the
yeah.
TV series, it lasted 3 months
Yeah,
or 4 months.
yeah. It was Blue Thunder, Riptide, which I can't remember the producer, Riptide. He produced a boatload of TV shows. But yeah, they were every network had a. I'm going to try to learn to talk before this podcast is over with. Every network had their own helicopter show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Hey.
Blue Thunder, the TV version of Blue Thunder had Dana Carvey, and who was on? Dana
The
Carvey
other
was on
guy,
Blue Thunder.
Dana Carvey and the other guy.
And this wasn't a comedy, but Dana Carvey was on it.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
just-
he may have been comic relief on it. He may have
I
been
don't
like
think he
Ernest
was.
Borgnine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who these guys are.
Yeah,
Also, going back
Sean
to
Hannity, Dana Carvey.
that's not Sean Hannity.
That's the guy from Parks and Rec. and
No.
O.J. Simpson.
No, that's
Those
not,
were on,
that's not O.J. Simpson either.
on Blue Thunder.
Yeah.
Oh, here, James Ferrantino, Dana Carvey, Sandy McPeak,
Oh, Sandy McPeak.
Dick Butkus, and Bubba Smith.
They
Yeah,
had,
because Dick and Bubba would drive around in the van.
Just
That was
tackle
the
people.
stupidest show. They were just the guys in the van while Blue Thunder is flying around. For some reason, Blue Thunder couldn't see where it needed to go, so it's relying on these two dipwads in a van driving around to point out where
so they
the
were,
helicopter's
They
supposed
were
to go.
spotting for Blue Thunder?
They were spotting
Okay.
the van on the ground was spotting for the helicopter that's like 10,000 feet or whatever up in the sky.
What were they going to do if the van had a flat? The van's stuck in
don't-
traffic.
or-
There's
or
cows
if-
crossing the
or
road.
if the
and
van
the
was-
chopper just...
Or if the van were in front of a building
Uh-huh.
or a tree, he wouldn't be able to spot for the helicopter.
TV shows were just the best back then.
So going back to Knight Rider, there's some overlap with Airwolf. Knight Rider aired from 1982 to 1986. Airwolf aired from 1984 to 1986 on CBS. On USA, it was 1987.
Okay,
then it was
so Knight
canceled.
Rider came before Airwolf. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I was watching an episode of Airwolf, and Shannon Doherty was in it. And I was like, oh, cool. And
Yeah.
then I didn't even think, I was expecting like 17-year-old Shannon Doherty to pop in there. I think she's 7 or 8 in this.
Yeah.
She's a little
wow.
kid. Yeah, she's stowed away on Airwolf. And no. She's stowed away on, they had this giant white and red chopper that Dominic was flying. It was like the size of a submarine, but it flies. Okay, it's like the Spruce Goose. And so Dominic was flying, and then this hand comes up from the side and tries to steal his sandwich. He's like, "Hey, you cut that out!" And it was Shannon Doherty. She tried to steal his sandwich. She was stowed away on his big ass chopper there. And then they landed. They had a crash landing. They thought they were being rescued, and the bad guys were like firing weapons at them, and so that was bad. And they had already sent the signal, but what they were doing is they were using Dominic as the bait because they wanted to get Stringfellow. They knew that Stringfellow Hawk was going to come and save Dominic, right? And I can't remember why Shannon Doherty, what she had to do with it. I was fast forwarding through all the conversation stuff because there's like 25 minutes of conversation in every episode of Airwolf.
Right. That has nothing to do with anything.
Well, it does, but it's like, Jesus, just the cliff notes. We
Yeah.
need to go there. We need to rescue her. We need to blow that up. Boom. Blow stuff up, and then you're good to go, right?
But what about the love interest? The whole...
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she shows up in a couple times, but that wasn't in this episode. We almost had that because, Stringfellow comes to save the day, and then they fire... the bad guys fired Airwolf, and they knock out his back propeller.
Your propeller.
Whatever. And so he has to fly
Spinny
off.
thing is a
He
technical-
puts on his thrusters, and he goes off to repair Airwolf, and he lands. He lands in this field, and there's a nice Mexican family there that come and like, "What are you doing on our land? And you've scared off all our chickens." And they're so bad that Airwolf has scared off the chickens.
Yeah.
And Stringfellow is trying to explain, "Look, I've got to go rescue my buddy Dominic, and I'm Stringfellow Hawk." And the nice Mexican lady keeps, she looks at him, he looks at her, she looks at him, he looks at her. She smiles at him, he smiles at her, and that's about as far as that went.
He doesn't pull the cello out of
He
the
did not have the
helicopter?
cello.
No.
But the nice Mexican family helped him repair his Airwolf, and then he went and he rescued Dominic. And
How
Shannon
would they
Doherty,
know how to repair
What are
Airwolf?
they doing?
You
How
tell
are they-
me.
Yeah.
You tell me. But they helped him repair Airwolf, and then he rescues Dominic, and then he gets the girl back to where she can reunite with her father. It was a very touching moment at
Yeah.
the end. Airwolf.
That's
So, Airwolf was created by Donald Belisario, who is better known for creating NCIS and JAG.
Okay.
Oh wow, yeah, Jag, yeah.
NCIS. That was a really good show.
Still
never watched-
on.
I've
Yeah,
never
I
watched
mean,
it
yeah,
either.
I know it's been on forever with Mark Harmon, right?
Well, he's no longer on it, but yes.
Oh, he finally left the show?
Hmm.
You know
Yes.
who he's married to? Mindy of Mork and Mindy, Pam Dauber.
Oh,
Oh,
He
okay.
and Pam Dauber been married for like 73 years or something. But yeah, I wrote some notes here. Some of the one of the best lines from Airwolf was he was Jan Michael Vincent, Stringfellow, was
Yes.
following. He was going into like dangerous territory, and they were like, "Why is he doing that? He's putting everybody in danger. He can't do that." And they said, "Well, Stringfellow Hawk, he's got more guts than sense." I like that.
yeah.
I like
yeah.
that.
Is that an
Yes.
Ernest Borgnine line? It sounds like something he would say.
No, Dominic didn't say that one. I think Archangel said that.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But then there was an episode where Archangel is co-piloting Airwolf, and somebody fires a missile at Airwolf. and
Isn't
this-
he like missing an eye or something?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't he wear an
Yeah.
eye patch?
He's
Yeah.
got the black eye patch on half of his glasses, but when he takes off the glasses, it's a white eye patch. At least it was in the episode that I watched.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Who
Is that
loses
real?
his eye in
Of
the
all the
first
things I would
episode?
make up, why would I make up an eye patch?
I don't know. I think you want to put some eye patch humor into the episode.
Because nothing's funnier than an eye patch. But no, they fired a missile at Airwolf. Okay, it hits Airwolf, and what it does is it penetrates the side of Airwolf. It doesn't explode Airwolf. So
call that a
Archangel,
rock. That's a
Archangel,
rock.
yeah, he looks over and he notices like, oh shit, it had penetrated Airwolf, and it's
Okay. So
releasing this.
Airwolf was
this,
violated.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a Roman candle went in there.
But no, it was like emitting all this dangerous gas.
Oh.
So what does Archangel do? He takes his cane and he starts hitting at the missile that had penetrated the side of Airwolf, and he pushes it out of the helicopter. And I'm like,
If you have a problem in your Airwolf episode that Statler or Waldorf could fix, then it's not an exciting episode.
I mean, it's like I can knock a missile out of the side. He's
Why
pushing it
did
out
he
with his
just
cane.
kick it with his
I'm not
foot?
kidding.
I've seen enough Airwolf to know you're not.
So
So how far into this episode did you regret doing this episode with us?
Oh, this particular episode,
this
or
one
watching
right-
Airwolf?
No, this
This
one
one
right
right
now.
here.
Yeah.
Probably right away.
Right away.
Right
That's-
away.
we have that effect.
Your mom's gonna love this
Oh
episode.
yeah, it's gonna be.
Oh
great.
yes.
Not only did it look like shit. Now see, now here I go again. If your mom watches this, I'm gonna get in trouble with your mom, and I'm sorry.
Why?
I'm sure your mom's a very nice lady.
Why would you get in trouble with my mom?
Because I was making a joke about your mom.
Are you saying her mom's humorless? Is that what you're saying? Are you
Maybe.
okay? I apologize.
Well, I don't know if you told us that story in Trust. I don't know if we weren't supposed to share that story.
I think I've told everyone that story. 'cause
Okay,
it's
there
a
you
good
go.
story.
Well, tell your mom I said hi.
I will tell her. Yes.
Fantastic. What did you think of Airwolf? Thumbs up or thumbs down to Airwolf?
Oh geez, thumbs down.
I
had a hard time getting through the 3 episodes I watched. I did not watch any of them in one sitting.
Mhm.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Airwolf, which, what was it called? It was something about, it had Hawk in the name.
There's something about Airwolf.
Yeah.
Wait, that wasn't the name of the episode.
No.
No, it was something Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shadow of the Hawk.
Shadow of the
Oh.
Hawk, not Hawk Tua. That's what it was.
Wasn't that a
different
White
episode.
Snake album, Shadow of the Hawk?
It might have been, yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the one with Dr. Moffat, played by David Hemmings. And then the other episode I watched was the first episode of season 2, which is Sweet Britches.
Well,
That sounds like a Dukes of Hazzard episode right there.
It does.
Oh, don't you get them sweet
Yeah, the
britches.
first two are Shadow of the Hawk and
Sweet britches.
Yeah. Well, it's got some good. The One Way Express. There's a banger.
I love the episode where Dominic is trying to land his helicopter on the dock, and the dog is just sitting there. He's like, move, move. And the dog's like, woo, woo, woo.
Also, how does the dock withstand Airwolf's size?
Weight,
and...
Yes. Yeah, you can't land a helicopter on a wooden dock. You're not supposed to, anyway.
Is it the Stringfellows dock?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's reinforced it.
You think so?
Yeah.
With titanium steel?
Cellos.
Yeah. It's
Just
reinforced
a whole bunch of
with
cellos.
cellos.
Yeah.
Invisible concrete.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these show titles are like Daddy's Gone a Huntin' also sounds like a Dukes of Hazzard title.
It does. It does.
It also sounds like a very special episode of something.
What was the one? I can't remember the name of the episode that had Shannon Doherty in it. Oh, daggone it! But it was
The Horn of Plenty. That's not that episode, but that's.
It was in season 1. Something bite the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Half Pint. Where have all the children gone?
Sweet britches. God.
Little Wolf.
He was in
Run.
Bite of the Jackal.
Bite of the Jackal. Yes, that's the name of it.
Yes.
And I don't even know why it was called that. Again, I had to fast forward through so much of it. But like I said,
So you had a hard time with these also.
I did.
Yeah.
I really, really did. Because, you reached out to me. Allison and I met we were both on an episode of the Letterman podcast with our buddy Mike Chisholm.
Yeah.
And so we heard that you were starting up yours, and you said, I'm doing a podcast. Would you and your buddy Mike want to be on? I said, sure.
Right,
And
Mike,
Allison
not
says,
Chisholm.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you said, give me an episode that you want to talk about, or a TV show. So I reached out to Mike Odell, and he said, we'll talk about Airwolf. I'm like, okay, great.
Airwolf's my answer to just about everything that I'm asked.
What do you want for breakfast? Airwolf.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I don't think there was an Airwolf cereal, but there were Airwolf video games. Maybe you can get one of those for your son.
Yeah, I mean, there was one for the Commodore 64 that I had a Commodore 64, and I think I had that game. I just wouldn't run.
Well, Hot Wheels released little toys of the helicopter.
Did they?
Yeah, you could get miniatures.
Oh, man.
They did. They had a strong toy line there.
There is a person in Italy that does remixes of 80s shows, and he has amazing remixes of the Airwolf theme and the Knight Rider theme. And I think he did the Street Hawk theme. I mean,
both themes are badass.
They are, but the original themes are badass. But this dude, they're in the audio version of 4K. Like, they are amazing. It's like he's redone all the instruments, and they have depth to them. And he loses his mind if anybody plays any snippet of any of his stuff on anything.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to his home website, there's a page about his music, and then there's about 15 pages of how hard he's going to sue you if he hears a note of any of his stuff anywhere out there besides his website. So
he's aware that there's only 7 notes, right?
Yeah. But no, he takes, like, I think the Knight Rider theme, I think it's like a 6-minute thing, and the Airwolf thing, I think it goes on for like 3 or 4 minutes, and he has like a beat. And then, like,
paying for the rights of this, because otherwise he's just taking other people's works, remixing them.
I'm certain that the original songwriter gets a chunk of it. You'd have to.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm gonna see if I can find it on our website.
There was something I noticed about Stringfellow Hawk was that I think he has the Force. Okay. I think he's got like Luke Skywalker powers, because he was chopping wood. And when Dominic was flying his big-ass white and red Spruce Goose helicopter with Shannon Doherty in it, it crash-landed. When it crashed, Stringfellow Hawk puts down the axe, does one of those things like, oh, I sense something. He knew that something was wrong with Dominic. And
So
that's
there
that
is now a Star Wars
crossover.
Airwolf crossover.
Multiverse. Yeah, exactly.
Part of the Star Wars extended universe.
Exactly.
I'm trying to find.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to find the guy. I at least want to give the name.
Yeah.
I can't find it. Man, this website sucks.
Stringfellow is Luke Skywalker's long lost half brother.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe. Yep. Stringfellow Hawk just he dropped his axe and he knew that there was something wrong. And I was like, this is the stupidest show ever.
Yeah, so Mike, why is this a show you love so much?
the theme song and the helicopter was awesome. I loved. There were a number of shows that I loved in the '80s that I never actually watched as closely as I should have because I was a little kid. And so another one
This
was
is one of
Miami
them?
Vice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember loving Miami Vice, but I never understood anything of what was going on in that show at all.
So you chose a show based on its theme song.
Yes.
That's it.
So back in the day,
And-
little Mikey in the basement, we had a Commodore 64, and I would play around with that all the time. And our TV was behind us, a lot like what this setup is right now. The TV
Right.
back there, and I'm playing around with this, and I would just have the TV going, and then you would hear the Airwolf theme song. I was like, "That's awesome!" And I'd look over and watch little bits here and there. And my main shows back then were Airwolf and MacGyver and Remington Steele. And I think it's because I don't know if they were all on the same channel.
I know Remington Steele was on NBC.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were not all on the same channel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I must have changed it at some point. Little Mikey must have gone back and turned the channel.
So, Allison, I think you'll appreciate this story, but when I was a kid, we lived in Virginia.
Yes.
And in the mountains of Virginia, and we had a rotary dial on top of our TV, and you turned it, turned the dial north, okay, and it would change the direction of the antenna, and you could get
Right.
the CBS station. And if you turned the dial south, it would took like 2 or 3 minutes to completely turn and aim the other direction, so we could get a different channel in. So that rotary dial broke. Okay, so instead of getting a new rotary dial to change the direction of the antenna,
Okay,
my
you've definitely
father-
told this story to Mike Chisholm.
Oh, I did? Yeah. But yeah, Dad would climb up to the top of the house and change the antenna direction by hand. Okay?
Right.
And then when Mom and Dad got divorced, Mom's not going to let us climb on top of the house to change the channel. So there was like a good couple of it may have been a year where we had one channel. It was NBC, and that's why I watched almost every episode of Little House on the Prairie. God, it was crazy. And so
So
all
at
these-
no point your mom thought to replace the antenna.
we
motor.
needed a new TV, and we didn't have a lot of money at the time.
Okay.
So it's like once we can buy a new TV, and that'll change most of our problems. So, and it may have been months instead of a whole year. I don't know, but there was a long time where we had one channel.
So, for your enjoyment, the guy's name is Enzo Margaglio.
Oh, okay.
You go to YouTube, Enzo Music, ENZO,
Mm-hmm.
and then music. And he has an amazing Airwolf version. He's redone Back to the Future, Knight Rider, Bloodsport,
Oh.
Terminator. Basically every badass theme that you can think of from back in the day, like Chips.
Oh,
He
yeah.
did the Chips theme. Rain Man.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. He has like 15 versions of Knight Rider. He's German, so they love the Hasselhoff.
Germans
Yeah.
love David.
Oh, yeah,
Hasselhoff.
that's
They
true.
go crazy. But yeah, if you go to his actual website, it's just, I will sue you, I'll sue you, you'll be sued, click here to be sued.
So I thought you said he was Italian earlier.
I thought, well, Enzo Margaglio to me sounds Italian, but
It
he
does.
says on his site that he's German, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not a German name.
No,
Yeah,
no.
no.
there's the whole EU thing, so it's
Yeah.
possible he immigrated.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe he's just hiding out
Yeah.
in Germany.
Alice, I'm sorry we destroyed your. I'm sorry we destroyed your podcast. I wanted better. I tried. I'm not blaming Mike. I blame myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I understand if this episode never hits the air.
I blame Darin as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my fault. I'm sorry.
Right. Wow. I don't know where to go from here. We covered Airwolf,
Yeah.
television themes,
Mm-hmm.
Darin's dad climbing up to adjust the antenna so that you
Mhm.
can watch something other than NBC.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
Is
we've
there
covered-
anything else you would like to mention?
What you got rocking? What kind of are those books back there? What's going on?
Yes.
back there?
Yeah,
Those
those
are
are books.
books.
Mike.
Those are books.
What
So-
are those books?
Those could be DVDs or something.
They're
They
clearly
could be
books,
DVDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this, Mike, but I am currently in the Rowan University Television Masters program,
Ah,
and I have taught TV history at Rowan before.
oh wow.
So those are mostly my collection of books on television.
Cool.
So we're
How
Yes.
does it feel knowing that you teach a master's level television history class and now you have to talk about Airwolf for an hour?
I don't
with
teach
two
the master's
yeses.
level. I'm
Oh,
in the
You're
master's
in the
level
master's
class.
Oh.
level. Okay. It's like,
Yes, I taught an undergraduate level
Okay.
class.
Yeah.
hmm.
Well, what I think is fascinating is, like I said, back in the day there were 3 channels, so that's what you had to
Yes.
watch. I think putting a TV show out now is a million times harder because there's 50
So many
different
TV shows,
50 different streaming services, and then you still have the networks. You still have USA
Cable.
and all. Yes, all these that have original
Yeah.
programming, and so I mean, it's like, my God, TNT still has original programming. I think.
When was the last time someone tuned into TNT?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, but I was what was I looking through? And there was some channel that had original programming. I know, I mean, like MTV and VH1, they're still channels, but they have reality programming because it costs like $100 to produce one episode. But I mean, it's like, I can't even imagine. It's like you're going to produce a show and you're going to throw it out on Hulu, right?
Yes.
And but those what's my point? My point is it's got to be just like ridiculously good to stand out. You can't just throw some half-ass thing on there like Airwolf. Back in the day, your show
Well,
has
Airwolf
to be
is streaming on the Roku channel.
That's awesome.
Yes. Well, season 1 is streaming on the Roku channel. But yeah, you throw a
They
show.
all are, or they were.
Yeah.
I mean, the Roku channel cycles which seasons they have.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I don't know. Have you seen Severance
No.
on Apple?
No.
Oh my God.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing. And I feel bad for anybody wanting to put a show out now because everyone's going to be saying, it ain't good like Severance. I've never seen anything like Severance. It's insane. Ben Stiller directs it. Adam Scott stars in it. And I watched like the first 8 episodes. Don't ask me anything about what was going on. I didn't understand a damn thing. My wife watched it with me. I was like, what's that? She goes, I don't know. And we kept watching it because it was so intriguing. We watched it because we wanted to understand. And there are some people who watch a show and they don't get it. They just give up on it. I know a lot of people who wouldn't watch Lost. Like after season 2 of Lost, they're like, I'm out. I don't have the bandwidth, the mental capacity
Watched
to
3
deal with this.
episodes of Lost and I was done.
I watched the whole season. I watched everything. I watched all of
whole
Lost.
series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole series. Yeah.
Yeah. We liked Lost.
I can't explain. There's this great video on YouTube of like the 48 things that they didn't explain in Lost.
I mean, yes.
So
They kind
And,
of lost where they were going with it.
Yeah, I'm convinced that J.J. Abrams, that show didn't finish like his original plan. I think he got lost somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it strayed.
I don't
yeah. I
think
think
they went in with like Breaking Bad, where they
Mhm.
knew they were ending by the time when they
Right,
pitched the show.
right.
And at the time, it was also ABC broadcast,
Hmm.
which they were just milking things for all they were worth.
Right.
They were used to operating like you can have a million seasons of Law and Order, and that's totally fine.
Yeah,
yeah.
every episode somebody dies, they find out who the killer is, and then they go to court, and then he's either found guilty or innocent. That's every
Or if they
episode.
or
Yeah,
if they want to throw something in, someone's embezzling. They're
right.
changing it up a bit.
Yeah, or are they? I
Well, it
haven't watched
depends
it.
on if you're talking about the original, because the original sometimes has like murder, embezzling, any sort of other crime, whereas
Right.
SVU has sexual assault and
Yeah,
every variety of that.
yeah.
And then there's criminal intent, which was different because it focused on the criminals and how they thought, and also Goran.
Hmm.
It's basically Goran's show.
Yeah,
Vincent D'Onofrio. And then there's organized crime, which is barely a Law and Order show.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you mentioned Breaking Bad. Did Vince Gilligan, did he have a 6-season arc in mind when he started the show? Or I can't remember if they started it and then like this is a good time to. I didn't. I
No,
didn't know.
he
They knew where it was
pitched
going to
it.
end.
Yeah,
Okay.
he pitched it, the whole thing,
Yeah. Because
and AMC just stuck with it.
yeah, season 1 was dicey. Not it was a good show. It was a really good show, but they didn't have the viewership that they wanted.
Yeah.
But it had a following still, so they believed in it, and then they kept it.
Yeah.
And then, holy crap, Katie barred the door. That show, my God, no one had ever seen anything like that. And I can't remember how many networks passed on that. It was one of those shows
I
that was
believe
like,
HBO did. I
yeah,
believe there's a few others.
yeah,
And then the spin-off Better Call Saul, which I'm
hmm.
currently working my way through, which I find to be a better show.
Oh, really? Okay.
Have you seen Better Call Saul?
Every
Oh, yeah.
episode, yeah,
Yeah.
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 I loved Better
And
Call Saul.
So where are you? What season are you in of Better Call Saul?
4, I believe.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I may have just started 5.
Okay.
I got to the episode where Werner is taken care of.
Okay.
Mm.
So you're deep into like the lab and all that stuff. So it's pretty much
Oh, yeah.
melded together with Breaking Bad at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my problems with Saul, and that's not really a problem, but I grew to like Kim Wexler so much. I'm like, Darin, stop getting attached to this character because she's not in Breaking Bad. So I'm like, it's like what's gonna happen to Kim? What's gonna happen to Kim? But
He's a
She is in
very
this next
strong
show.
character.
she's an amazing character. Better Call Saul has the record for being nominated for the most Emmy Awards without winning a single one. And I can't
Yeah.
remember the number, but it's a stupid amount of Emmy Awards they were nominated, and they lost every single one, which is sad because it deserved something. But no, my
Right,
thing, Better Call Saul, I loved Better Call Saul. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Breaking Bad. And again, I love Better Call Saul.
Okay, this is
Breaking,
a whole
Breaking Bad blew my mind.
yeah, this is
how
a
good that
whole
show
nother
is.
episode we have
Mhm.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I'm trying to
Okay.
save it.
Yeah, well, I think we should probably end it here since we've gone off
Okay.
the Airwolf.
All right.
We've gone
Track.
off the rails. Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone off the rails.
Thank you for
Thank
inviting
you.
us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I'd love to have you again, hopefully with a better show.
Mike.
Maybe Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad the next time.
Okay.
Oh, you meant a better show to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a better podcast,
Yes.
a
Okay,
better
yes.
TV show to talk
Damn.
about.
Yeah, we ran out of runway there with Airwolf.
Didn't think that was possible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. No.
Yeah, it's
no,
possible.
Oh, it's possible.
no. Yeah.
So is there anything you want to say before we close out the show?
Plug our stuff.
Oh yeah. If you want to listen to Mike and I talk about more idiotic stuff, what you heard tonight is basically an episode of Irritable Dad Syndrome. But yeah, you can go to irritabledadsyndrome.com and listen to any of our episodes, and I think you'll have fun. We have fun, and I hope, Allison, that
Someone
you
has to.
continue. Yeah, I hope that you would continue doing your show and that you enjoy it, because we said as long as we're having fun, we're going to keep doing it, and we have a blast.
Yeah.
So we have we don't have a huge following, but we have a loyal following. And the people who do follow us, we thank them right and left because they're keeping us going. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, irritabledadsyndrome.com is where you can listen to more crap from us.
Well, thank you, Darin and Mike. This has been Greetings from the Idiot Box. I'm Allison Lips, and thank you for listening, and join us next time. Bye.